mean, it's interesting because, government is limited. I mean, many of us we were talking about it before the show, government has a lot of roles to play, and we always can think about the strategy of how people get elected and what they do and the limitations of that. But one of the big limitations really is being able to fund things. And there's people in government that want to fund various projects, and some of those we all agree with, some of them we don't. But an organization like yours really kind of cuts through that a little bit, because you directly help people who have vision and want to implement those visions in the world. So how do you maybe pick and choose what projects you're going to work with? I mean, what's the process like to meet with somebody who may be a donor and use their money in a way that would be for a good purpose?
So a lot of community foundations do have specific initiatives where they have a mission that they're trying to promote on the planet, and they partner and are very strategic with those partnerships. This foundation, primarily because I didn't study community foundations, I studied the region, I studied the people here in rebuilding this foundation. What we do is we come alongside anybody that can show that what they want to do is of benefit without our own agenda, without our own what, how, when, whys. We essentially say, if it's in their heart and it does do something positive in the world, that we can come alongside them. Oftentimes we use our federal 501c3 as a determining factor. Is it legally charitable, what they want to do? It doesn't have to be. In other words, it could be partnerships with the for-profit sector. It certainly can be in partnership with the government. Within the role of philanthropy, I think what's so unique about it is we are really at the crossroads of all three sectors. And so if we are good at what we do, we are making all three of the sectors much more efficient.
And the process for selecting that, to get back to that a little bit, I mean, how do you, I'm sure that there are proposals that come to you and come to your board that you're like, well, we just don't want to support that, or we can't support that. I mean, what's the process like to decide what is involved in that?
In terms of the funding as grant makers, we don't, prior to the Camp Fire, we did not have a pool of resources where people were coming to us with proposals per se, and we were funding them or not. We were building an infrastructure where somebody said, hey, I have an idea to make the Chico Children's Museum, and we incubated that there.
Gotcha.
Or they say, I'm going to do a walk in Bidwell Park, but I have no insurance, I'm not a nonprofit, and I want all the proceeds to go to help build wells on the continent of Africa. That's the role we played. So our primary role prior to the Camp Fire was in supporting individuals in the community stand up and do work that they wanted to do to support the causes they cared about. They directed the grants, not us. So they raised the funds and they said, this is the organization I want to give them to. Or we started the process of helping them incubate as a nonprofit. We do have donor-directed funds that make grants. So we've had a long-standing fund at the Community Foundation called the Steve Otter Senior Endowment. It has its own committee that makes the determination of who they're going to fund and how much they're going to fund it. So the North Valley Community Foundation has not had to do that until the fire, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit later today, but we took on a new role as grant makers during the Camp Fire.